Most people completely misunderstand what it actually takes to legally register a company in another country, and that misunderstanding has cost them not just money, but entire business opportunities they never even got to explore. Because here's the surprising truth nobody really talks about. Countries like Uruguay are quietly becoming one of the most stable and business-friendly environments in South America. Yet very few foreign entrepreneurs ever take the time to understand how the process actually works from start to finish. And if you're planning to build a company abroad, there is something extremely important you need to know first. An LLC in Uruguay is not just a form you fill out. It is a legal structure tied to residency rules, tax frameworks, banking requirements, and government approvals that all interact in ways most beginners completely overlook. And that is exactly where people like Michael, Sarah, and David enter the story. Michael is a freelance software developer from the United States who has been working remotely for years. Sarah runs a small online marketing agency. And David is an e-commerce entrepreneur trying to expand into Latin America. All three of them are looking for something similar without even realizing it. A stable, internationally respected place to legally structure their business, reduce friction with payments, and create a foundation for long-term growth. At first, Uruguay was not even on their radar. Michael was looking at places like Estonia and Singapore. Sarah was considering Panama. And David was stuck between expanding in the US or trying a more tax-friendly jurisdiction. But everything changed when they each stumbled upon the idea of forming an LLC in Uruguay. And here's where things get interesting. Because the moment they started researching, they realized something nobody had warned them about. Uruguay is not a quick, online LLC setup country. It is a structured legal system with very clear rules, strong banking regulations, and a formal incorporation process that rewards preparation, not shortcuts. And that's where the confusion begins. Most people assume that registering an LLC anywhere in the world works the same way. You pick a name, fill out a form, pay a fee, and you're done. But in Uruguay, the process is closer to building a legal identity for your business inside a regulated national system. And if you don't understand that system, you don't just slow yourself down. You risk rejection, banking issues, or a company structure that doesn't actually work for your business goals. So let's walk through what actually happens, step by step, in a way that feels practical and real, as if you were doing it yourself. But before that, there is one insight that changes everything. Uruguay does not technically use the term LLC in the same way the United States does. Instead, the closest equivalent structure is typically the Sociedad de Responsabilidad Limitada, often abbreviated as SRL. This is the legal entity most foreign entrepreneurs are referring to when they say Uruguay LLC. And that small detail makes a huge difference because it affects taxation, liability, ownership structure, and how banks view your company. Now, here's where the real journey begins. Michael decides to move forward first. He wants to register an SRL in Uruguay so he can invoice international clients more efficiently. He imagines it will take a few days. But when he contacts a local advisor, he learns the first reality check. He cannot simply register a company remotely without documentation, identification, and a structured legal process that includes local representation. And this is where the first problem appears. He realizes that setting up a company in Uruguay involves multiple layers. Legal registration, tax registration, banking setup, and in many cases, immigration considerations if he plans to operate physically from the country. And suddenly, the idea that felt simple becomes complex. But here's the insight that changes everything. Uruguay is actually designed for legal transparency. It is not trying to hide ownership or make things difficult. It is trying to ensure that every company operating inside its system is legitimate, traceable, and compliant. And once Michael understands that, the process stops feeling like an obstacle and starts feeling like a structure he can work with. So let's break down the actual registration process in a clear and practical way. The first step is choosing your business structure. In Uruguay, foreign entrepreneurs typically choose between an SRL, which is similar to an LLC, or a corporation known as an SA. The SRL is more flexible for small and medium-sized businesses, especially for service providers, consultants, and digital entrepreneurs. Sarah, who runs a marketing agency, immediately realizes the SRL is the better fit for her, because it allows multiple partners, flexible management, and simpler internal governance. But choosing the structure is only the beginning. The next step is name reservation. This is where you submit your proposed company name to the National Registry to ensure it is unique and legally available. And while this sounds simple, it is one of the first places where delays happen if people rush the process. But here's the problem. Many foreign applicants underestimate the importance of documentation consistency. If your business name, personal identification, or supporting paperwork contains inconsistencies, the process can stall. And this is where David makes his first mistake. He tries to submit documentation that is partially translated and not properly certified. The result is a delay that sets him back weeks. But there's a smarter way to handle this. In Uruguay, certified legal documentation is essential. That often means apostille documents, official translations into Spanish, and sometimes notarized identity verification, depending on your situation. Once documentation is aligned, the next step is drafting the company bylaws. And this is where things become more strategic. The bylaws define how your company operates, who owns it, how decisions are made, how profits are distributed, and how management is structured. This is not just paperwork. This is the legal blueprint of your business. Michael initially thought he could use a generic template, but his legal advisor explained something critical. A poorly structured company agreement can limit your flexibility later, especially if you plan to scale, bring in partners, or open international bank accounts. So instead of rushing, he takes time to structure it properly. And here comes a mini payoff moment. Once the bylaws are correctly drafted and notarized, the company moves closer to official registration with the National Registry of Commerce in Uruguay. But we are not done yet. Because there is another step most beginners don't expect. Tax registration. Every company in Uruguay must register with the tax authority, known as the Dirección General Impositiva. This is where your company receives its tax identification number and becomes officially recognized for financial operations. And this is where Sarah encounters another surprise. She learns that even if she operates online and serves international clients, she still has to comply with local tax filing requirements depending on her structure and residency status. But here's where it gets interesting. Uruguay is often considered one of the more stable and transparent tax environments in Latin America, with clear corporate rules and relatively predictable compliance systems compared to many neighboring countries. And that stability is exactly what attracts foreign entrepreneurs. Once tax registration is complete, the next major step is banking. And this is where everything either comes together or falls apart. Because without a local or international business bank account that accepts your structure, your company is technically registered but not practically usable. David learns this the hard way when he assumes he can immediately connect his company to global payment processors. But most banks require in-person verification, business activity proof, and a clear understanding of ownership structure before approving accounts. And this is the moment where many entrepreneurs either give up or adapt. But here's the insight that shifts everything again. Uruguay values legitimacy over speed. If your company is properly structured, documented, and transparent, the system becomes highly reliable and predictable. So instead of fighting the process, successful entrepreneurs align with it. Now let's talk about something critical that most guides ignore. Residency and operational presence. While you do not always need to be a resident to own a company in Uruguay, having residency can significantly simplify banking, taxation, and operational flexibility. Michael begins to consider this seriously. He realizes that combining a properly structured SRL with residency could give him long-term stability for his remote business operations. And this leads to a deeper strategic understanding. Registering a company is not just about paperwork. It is about building a legal ecosystem that supports your financial and business goals. But there is still one more layer most people miss. Ongoing compliance. Once your Uruguay SRL is active, it must maintain annual filings, tax compliance, and proper accounting records. This is not optional. It is part of what keeps the system stable and internationally respected. Zara initially sees this as a burden. But over time she realizes something important. This structure actually protects her business. It forces clarity, financial discipline, and credibility with international clients. And that is something many informal business setups lack. So what does the full journey actually look like when we step back? You start with choosing the right structure, typically an SRL. Then, you reserve your company name. You prepare and legalize your documents. You draft and notarize your bylaws. You register with the National Registry. You complete tax registration. Then you move into banking setup and ongoing compliance. Each step builds on the last. And if one step is rushed or incomplete, the entire structure can become unstable. But when done correctly, you end up with a legally recognized company in a stable jurisdiction with strong international credibility. Now, here is the final turning point in our story. Michael, Sarah, and David all complete their registrations, but their outcomes differ dramatically. Michael uses his structure to expand his consulting business globally. Sarah builds a more credible agency that wins higher value clients. David finally stabilizes his payment systems and enters new markets in Latin America. And none of them got there by rushing. They got there by understanding the system. And that is the real lesson behind registering an LLC in Uruguay. It is not about speed. It is about structure, compliance, and strategic alignment with the country's legal framework. So if you are considering building a company in Uruguay, the most important shift you can make is this. Stop thinking like someone trying to complete paperwork. Start thinking like someone building a long-term legal foundation for international business. Because once you understand that, every step becomes clearer, every requirement makes sense, and every part of the process starts working in your favor instead of against you. And if you found this guide helpful and want more clear, practical breakdowns of how global business structures actually work, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more in-depth guides like this.